Hi everyone, wish you a very beautiful Monday. Good morning. So today we are going to talk about money and salary. Quite an interesting topic, isn't it? Because everybody, all of us work only for money and salary, isn't it? This is one of the primary reasons we all work. We all say we are working for keeping ourselves engaged, and we are working for our family, and we are working for the world, and we want to save the world, and I don't know what all we want to do. But at the end of the day, the truth is that all of us are working for surviving or thriving, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So money and salary. So we're going to discuss two things here. One is the science behind giving and receiving. Okay. And why you're receiving the salary that you're receiving. Okay. Second aspect, you will be performing a small activity to assess your money or salary energy at present. Okay. Okay. Science behind giving and receiving. Giving is one of the most beautiful things to do when it comes to money, especially if you want to give, if you're giving it to someone that you know, if you're giving it to somebody who genuinely deserves it, and so on and so forth. But if you end up giving money to someone without actually having the intention to do so, out of anger or out of compulsion, or maybe you're being forced to do that, in those situations you're not actually doing it out of happiness, right? There is a trauma that gets created in the body. There's a guilt, a resentment, a regret that gets created in the body when you give money to someone without actually wanting to give, or without actually feeling happy about it, right? So your giving need not always come from a happy space. So every time you're giving money to someone, first of all, think, are you doing it with complete 100% happiness and satisfaction? Or even if there is 1% of doubt, even if there is 1% of compulsion there, okay, there's a very high chance that moving forward, the next time if they come back and ask you for some money, you'll not want to give them any more. So that again might create some kind of a discomfort with that person or in that situation, and you yourself may not feel very happy about it. So whenever money is given, the first thing is to remember is to have a clear and firm intention. Okay, clear, firm, and positive intention. Now, when it comes to receiving, right? If we say receiving is directly proportional to what we give, okay, not necessary that you will exactly receive what has been given. In fact, you can receive much more than what you have given. Okay, you can actually receive much more than what you have given, and that's the best part about giving. And that is why you need to be even more conscious of your intentions when you're giving money to someone. And when it comes to receiving, it is all dependent on how open you are to receive. So what we people do, we generally, when we are giving, we are very happy at times. And if you keep on giving, but if you're closed to receiving, that will stop the receiving actually. So it's also important that in order to receive, you need to do these 3 to 4 things. Okay. 1, be ready to receive. 2, open up to receive and don't say no to money. And 3, ask for money without any fear. Because even if you're asking for money with fear somewhere, that means there is a sense of lack or sense of not deserving it. So you need to deserve when you're asking for the money you want. So for example, you go for an interview and you ask for a salary, do it with full confidence, do it with full deservability. Okay, you need to first make yourself understand that yes, I'm asking for the salary and I know that I deserve it. And also keep the reasons ready, saying, okay, XYZ, I'll be adding XYZ value to this role, and therefore I'm asking for this salary. So be prepared on that front. Okay, so giving and receiving, this is the science behind giving and receiving. And both giving and receiving create an energy which is reciprocal in nature. Okay, now coming to the activity where you will be assessing your money or salary energy. So you need to do the following. Prepare a list of all the people in the past 5 to 10 years to whom you have given money or taken money from. It could also include your parents' names, your friends, your colleagues, your children even, right? If you are above the age of 50 or 60, if your children are grown up, if they have already started earning money, or even if you've taken money from your neighbors for that matter, include that as well. Okay? Include all their names. Okay? And also include the amounts that you gave them or took from them. Okay. Now just go back in time, just close your eyes, go back in time to each one of those incidents when you're giving money or receiving money, and write down the underlying emotion that you felt when you were giving or receiving. Was that done in a happy mode? Was that done in a disturbed mode? Was that done out of anger or force? Was that done out of generosity? Was that done out of maybe complete compulsion, right? Or were you just neutral, giving, receiving? Okay, I gave the money, I took it back. Also, look at how many times you got cheated. Were you cheated by anybody? Was that the energy at that point in time? Have you ever come across that kind of a situation where you got cheated and then that created an inconvenience, right? So once you complete writing this, that is a list of the names of the people to whom you have ever either given money or received and the associated emotion. The third step is to release all the negative emotions out of that list. Okay. So wherever you've written neutral or happy money, just keep it as it is. And the rest of them, the first thing you do is cut out. Okay. Cut out that word. For example, anger, compulsion, okay, forcefully given, cheated. Just cut out all those words and do the release exercise. So if you've not watched the day 1, day 2, and day 3 videos of the NLP mini class, I speak about release, how to release the associated emotion with having done anything for that matter, right? How to release the associated emotion and especially the negative emotions, that is. So wherever you created a negative emotion or wherever that giving and receiving, wherever that transaction created a negative emotion, all those emotions now you are supposed to release. So once you're done with this exercise, just drink 2 to 3 glasses of water and end this activity. So symbolically, what you've done here is you have released the negative emotions associated with those transactions. Okay. And this is also an awareness exercise. Sometimes when we are giving money to people or receiving money from people, we are unknowingly harboring certain emotions, harboring certain feelings which are not desirable. And those kind of emotions or those kind of feelings are what later on go on to become diseases in our body, deaths in our mind. Okay. And sometimes, very ironical, but people even die with that emotion. Even when they're dying, they're feeling tensed and, unsure and stressed about that emotion. And if you ask me how all of this is connected to your career and your salary, it is directly proportional to that. Because the more open you are to giving money and receiving money, the higher the salary that you can demand with confidence. Okay. The more open you are to giving, the more open you will be to serve the organization where you're working. If you're not open to giving, then you'll think 100 times before serving the organization. If you're not open to receiving, then you'll think 100 times before asking for the salary. So this is how your body, your mind, and your soul becomes conditioned and traumatized. And what we call trauma is So what we call trauma actually starts from a very small, simple thing, but it goes on and becomes a burden in the long run. So if you want to avoid doing that, just do this, okay? So if you found this video simple, just type simple in the comments.